What's going on, everybody? This is the Big Fat Herocast, and I'm DJ Hijack.
And I am DKG72.
And this is the first episode of what we hope will be many more podcasts coming soon. But this first one, we're going to go ahead and jump into a review of Guardians of the Galaxy.
First episode. Let's go.
First episode. Big Fat Hero Show. First episode. Big Fat Hero Show. Big Fat Hero. All right,
that was a hell of an opening.
Yeah, hella dope. So, this being the first episode, we're getting into some fun stuff with Guardians of the Galaxy. Everybody loves the adventures of Peter Quill, Gamora, Drax, Star-Lord. I already said Peter Quill.
Yeah,
and many more.
Rocket and Groot.
Yeah, they are. Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We have to be specific because the first movie was Volume 1.
Yes, we learned that recently.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Let's get right into it. The movie was... What did you think of the movie? What was your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts of the movie, well, wow. Number one, the movie is a great example of great visual storytelling. And it was a great movie all the way around. But more importantly, James Gunn gets it. He gets it to the highest degree. He tells some of the best stories visually that I've seen with any director in Hollywood.
I agree with you. He's pretty good. And I'd actually say that I also thought this was an amazing film. It was great. And I will echo that I would say what James Gunn was able to capture was something I haven't seen in a movie in a long time, which was that feeling you got when you first saw Star Wars or any movie of that time where you came out of it. Like, I can imagine a kid coming out of this movie going, wow, all the wonder. Even with this being PG-13,
yeah,
it still is super accessible to young kids. I know after watching this, there's some kid who wants to be Gamora, some kid who wants to be Rocket, some kid who wants to be Groot. You want to do that. A lot of movies nowadays, even the most recent Star Wars films, don't give you that sense of wonder or amazement that this movie does. It was really good.
Okay, I'm postulating here. Would you, if Guardians is going to be a trilogy, would this technically be their Empire Strikes Back?
I wouldn't say that because it's not going to be set up the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't judge it by Star Wars, especially since I actually enjoy it more than most recent Star Wars. So I wouldn't do that. This is closer to what if we had gotten more than one Flash Gordon.
Ooh.
What if we gotten, what if some of the other space operas of the time had came and we got more than one of them? Star Wars is the only one for real of those of that time that we got multiple episodes or multiple movies from. This is continuing that feel, but bringing it on like we've never seen before.
Okay, that's a good point. I agree with you. It's we shouldn't judge everything by Star Wars or even Star Trek as I guess those would be the gold standards. Yeah, but Guardians has kind of set itself apart, even from the Marvel universe, don't you think?
Oh yeah. I mean, what Guardians was able to do is say like, hey, what if Spaceballs was just as worthy as Star Wars? Ooh, and you bring them together and you get Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's the reason why I think it's going to last for a while. It's going to set a gold standard for newer movies. It's what's going to make it really hard for the next Star Wars movies because now they have to compete with this. And I have the feeling that Thor's heading in the same direction as these Guardians films. The
Guardians direction. So, it does look like that, especially from that trailer.
Right, so maybe a little Disney infighting is about to go on for space here. But,
that would be kind of interesting. The Star Wars, the Lucas people are like, no, we had space first. And Marvel's like, but we have it now.
That's true. So let's get to a little bit of the story. We're going to try to not overly spoil anything, but you know what? Never mind. We spoil stuff.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you hear this, most of you all should have seen the movie. If not...
And if you haven't, you just should know...
Turn off.
Yeah, you should just know we spoil stuff. So.
All right. Well, let's do it like this. First, let's break it down character-wise. And Peter Quill, since he's, Star-Lord, let's start with him. What did you think of his overarching storyline?
I liked it. It wasn't it's strangely enough, even though it's the most pivotal story in the movie, it's not the main focus. And that's what I liked about this one. It accomplished something else a lot of movies have been trying. When the movies about family should have been trying, is that it really gives each character time, and it gives each character's arc more time. People complain about Gamora in the first one about they didn't give her enough, and it's like this time they gave her plenty plus her sister's time, making it like okay, they both got to work some stuff out, and even new characters got plenty of time. So with that, yeah, his I liked his art. I like how he got to work over his daddy issues, and it gave you the feels. I mean, this movie will give you the feels.
This movie's going to get,
I'm not gonna lie, I teared up about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, this movie is going to get you. His storyline, especially, the things that he's dealing with as a person, it's very human. It's a very human issues. Very human issues.
Learning. Sitting there and saying, "Wow, Jack Burton is my dad." Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. And then Jack Burton turns out to not be Jack Burton. He turns out to be more like his enemy in in that regard. So
of course, for those who don't know, Jack Burton is
Kurt Russell.
Yes,
and if you don't know, if you listen to this podcast, you should know. But just in case you don't,
yeah, it's Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell's great in this too. People want to say that Marvel's villains are just one note and boring.
Well, I think they killed that.
Well, he didn't do a Joker like turn where it's all you remember is him. But he was not a bland, empty bad guy. He wasn't. Of course, with the end of this, there's no doubt you won't see him again. But
I don't know. He is a celestial, so
yeah. So Kurt Russell's part was he played Ego, the living planet, and for all the people who, when they heard that he was going to be playing the part, were like, "How is that possible? How is a planet going to impregnate a woman?"
Well,
they answered that pretty well.
Yeah, and it made sense.
Tons of sense. And that's laying pollen wherever you want to lay.
Yeah, and that's a good segue. With Kurt Russell's character, I felt that he did kill the Marvel villains in the Marvel movies. Only are one-note characters. They don't have any depth or anything beyond just their goal. He was Kurt Russell as Jack Burton, I felt, but really similar to the way David Tennant handled being the Purple Man in Jessica Jones, where he basically played the evil version of the Doctor. In this movie, Kurt Russell as Ego, the living planet, he played an evil version of Jack Burton.
Just not as much of an a-hole.
Yeah, he wasn't as much of an a-hole, but he was super manipulative.
Yes, although Jack Burton is a good guy, he's still super a-hole. But beyond that, I also, that development was great, but I'd say the thing that won the movie for me was Drax.
His story was and
it's not even his story, it's performance. Dave Bautista should get a Oscar nomination.
An Oscar?
An Oscar. Best supporting actor. He was. You look at this guy. You go remember him from wrestling.
Yeah.
And you see him, and you don't look at him and go like, "Well, that's the next Rock." But watching this movie and watching his turn, his comedic turn, and how good he is at delivering his lines, and able to actually do emotion, somewhat I would say better than the actual Star-Lord himself acting. I'd say he's the star of the movie. He's hilarious. But Groot was to the first movie. Drax is to this movie.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah, Drax is killing it in this one.
That scene with Mantis.
Yes.
That scene with Mantis really kind of... It actually
sets
the stage.
All the scenes with Mantis. Drax and Mantis is a good pairing. And I like how that's another thing they did with this movie. One of the ways he figured out how to get all the characters together is he paired them off. So you dealt with them with 2 characters at a time instead of having to juggle them a whole bunch. So and he worked hard to make sure you really get the family theme here.
Yes,
I mean you get the theme of family with how Gamora is becoming sort of like a mother figure to baby Groot.
Yes,
Gamora and her sister's troubles. There's family there. You got of course. Peter Quill, you got Star-Lord and Ego.
And his daddy issues.
Yeah, and then the biggest surprise of that is, of course, when you get in, not Drax.
What, Rocket?
No.
Oh, you talking about Yondu?
Yondu, yes, Yondu. Oh. No, actually, that's the other person who deserves an Oscar.
Now that's the competition because Michael Rooker.
Yeah, Michael Rooker. Yeah, he gonna get you teared up.
Oh my God, Michael Rooker. You didn't even. Here was the funny part about that whole situation. The way the way James Gunn first set it up, you didn't know that Michael Rooker's Yondu would have such a pivotal linchpin role in the storyline.
Yeah, I did not expect him to be so important to the movie. And for Star Trek fans,
the
Spock moment. I say Yondu has a scene that rivals the death of Spock.
Yeah, he does.
It's very like if
that was the one that got me.
Spock got you teared up. Yeah, this will get you. And then you gotta be hard. You gotta be a cold person. You gotta be like somebody like a friend called One Girl Next to be able to really not get it. To watch this and not feel anything, or Carl Reed. Either way.
Yeah. You have to really not be able to feel because Michael Rooker's Yondu, he stole for me. He stole the show, and I will actually say that Karen Gillan really put in work. It may not have been as great as Michael Rooker or even Dave Bautista, but it wasn't that much far. It wasn't that far from.
Oh yeah, I mean, she showed. I like her in this role because she gives us she sets herself apart from her her Doctor Who days. She's funnier in this, and she also is able to deliver emotion in a robotic body. And when you consider how good the work on her is too, so like all the detail they do on her face, and for her to be practical effects, and you already know. Oh, speaking of the effects.
Oh, the effects were off the chain.
Once again, Marvel wants to prove that we don't need human actors. As like showing Kurt Russell from the 80s looking like Kurt Russell from the 80s.
You know what? I was amazed, mad,
and scared.
It's very scary.
They're going to come for us one day.
Right. They've almost figured this out. It's like, you know what? We figured out a way to keep Robert Downey Jr.
He'll be happy forever.
We don't need a new actor.
You can be replaced.
So
this movie delivered. It even found a way to give more of the Ravagers.
Yes, and Taserface.
Taserface, the greatest character ever made.
Yes, Taserface is one of the greatest characters
ever in comics ever than Taserface. As all have known the great history of Taserface and his battles in the Marvel universe. I mean, it was great to see that they took one of the best characters ever created in Marvel Comics and put him in this film. It was great to see Taserface. Almost as good as it was to see Howard the Duck and then yet another cameo. The cameos in this movie, by the way.
Oh, the cameos.
The cameos.
You know what? I know we've kind of been just doing a spoiler field, but I'm
we're all over. And yes, we know we're all over the place. So this is our first one. So forgive us. This is not structured at all, but.
We're not going to give away some of the cameos. I will say this: you might want to pay attention to the credits.
You want to pay attention to the credits, and for some of the cameos, if you don't notice, some of those people are people you didn't really think they were, and then when you realize at the end
who they are
as a group, that's a good surprise there too.
That was really good.
And also pay attention into the actual credits when the credits are rolling. There's things in there too. This time, instead of just a regular stinger, there's stingers inside the credits. So there's guest appearances and things that lead up to things like Thor that's coming right up that you don't notice unless you're paying attention to the credits.
Oh, and there's one very important stinger that I think is going to play out in the next few Marvel movies. One very important stinger because they introduce somebody in a very interesting way. Which is actually very true to the comic book roots.
And this is okay to go ahead and spoil some of the things, like the fact that everybody had a bunch of theories of who was going to be in this movie, and they thought, I remember people thought that Kurt Russell's going to be Adam Warlock.
Yes,
and it's like, well, it turns out they were wrong. Of course, he was not. He was Ego, but Adam Warlock is in the movie.
Yes, he is, and that's something you want to look for. Adam Warlock does make an appearance. Not how you think, but he does make an appearance. And my personal theory is that with him being mentioned, brought up, appearing in the film, that with the upcoming Infinity War, which is still, well, except for one movie now instead of two, because I think they figured out that was just too much. Adam Warlock will play a pivotal role in that new movie.
Well, that, and I also think that this is where people should be paying attention. That Marvel Studios is making another change they haven't noticed. They seem to be segmenting their movies just like they segmented movies and TV. So now we're going to have movies that are the Earth-based movies, and now there's clearly a space-based Marvel that's separate from the Earth-based. So Thor. So now watching these movies, it's clear that Thor is a space-based character now, which is where he needs to be to make him more interesting. Because on Earth, he's born in sin.
Right.
You got the fact that Doctor Strange would be your bridge between the two, because he's going to bounce between both worlds. And then once you add Adam Warlock, and then they've already introduced Howard the Duck. Who you can't keep showing him and not use him.
Howard the Duck is going to get his own movie. This is another prediction, major prediction. Howard the Duck is getting his own movie, and he's going to.
I think he's going to get a TV show. Netflix.
You think he's going to get a TV show?
Yeah, he'll get a TV show. He makes more sense for TV. A 6-episode show for Netflix with I don't know.
I mean, honestly, that point you can introduce the Man Thing or something like that.
Nobody wants that, but
hey. Man Thing has its purpose in life.
Nobody likes Man Thing. Oh. Anyways, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. This was a short one, but it was pretty intense. It's our first review, first podcast.
First podcast, yeah.
Hopefully there'll be plenty more. So let us know what you thought. We know we rambled on a bit, and we know there was no structure, but we're going to do better. If you have anything you want to hear us talk about, or think that, or have any other opinions about what we said, let us know.
Hit those comments.
Hit us up in the comments, or you could actually hit us up on our Facebook page, Big Fat Hero, and our YouTube channel, which is also Big Fat Hero. Also follow us on Instagram.
Yes, Big Fat Hero Instagram. DJ Hijack, you got any personal Instagram information or?
No, I don't like people, so they don't need to follow me.
You don't like that? Well,
matter of fact, don't you dare look me up on Instagram or Facebook or follow any of my lovely music or my great videos. Don't you dare do that. I don't want that.
He doesn't want that.
No.
Yes. Yeah. But see, me, on the other hand, I do want
You're
that. So
definitely shameless whore.
Yes, I am.
Dirty.
Doing that, you can hit me up on Instagram at DKG72.
You can definitely hit him up. He's down for that.
On Twitter, DKG72. Follow me on the YouTube channel, DKG72.
Yep,
and
definitely peep the YouTubes if you want to learn how to draw. Want to learn, how to get into the industry a bit. Peep the channel. He gives you some good stuff.
Yes, we do. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up now. Hope you guys enjoyed the first Big Fat Hero podcast. And DJ Hijack, anything else left to say?
I'm the greatest. Word him up.
Peace, y'all. Big Fat Hero.
It was the Big Fat Hero Show. This was the Big Fat Hero Show. It's over now. What do you know? This was the Big Fat Hero Show.